everyone. Welcome to Let's Talk About the POTS Life, your go-to podcast for all things POTS. Whether you're living with POTS or supporting someone who is, this is the place for you.
Welcome to another episode of Let's Talk About the POTS Life. Today we have a newer POTS Life grad, Megan, with us.
Yes, Megan just graduated the day of our POTS Life event, so not too long ago, earlier this month, and we are very excited to have her because not only do we have like another medical perspective because her background is in nursing, and I just feel like her story is so good to listen to because I feel like even with knowledge of being in the medical field or something, like it's still very hard to figure out what's going on. And I think she's a perfect example of that. And somebody who was in, she'll tell you, like probably physically the best shape of her life while internally maybe starting to fall apart. So welcome, Megan. We're happy to have you.
Thank you so much.
So tell them how you came to find the office and what transpired to get you to be like, okay, I'm ready to go see Kelsey, because I know a lot was happening behind the scenes, but it kind of took a little bit for your mind to be like, okay, something's not right.
Yeah, I think from the very beginning of my symptoms to the time I actually saw you, years had passed, right. I would say.
Oh, wow.
It didn't become debilitating, I would say, until right whenever I saw you. My cardiologist and rheumatologist both have said separately in separate appointments, without knowing the other one has said it, that it was likely from like hypermobility and just probably having symptoms throughout my entire life. But, you know, I had these triggers happen last year where I went through infertility treatment, IVF, all of the things, did get pregnant, lost that pregnancy very early, and then threw myself back into the gym I started working out very heavy and very hard, which is what I was doing pre-infertility. So it had been a couple years probably since I was lifting as hard and as heavy as I was. And I would say that was in May, and by August I was laying on the gym floor for 20 minutes with a heart rate in the 170s, probably higher. The owner of the gym was like, take your watch off, because I kept looking at it because I'm just a very anxious person.
We're all type A. It's fine. It's fine.
Yeah. Then my nurse brain was like, oh my gosh, if I get to 200, they're going to I just started to spiral. So he's like, take your watch off. Don't look at it. So this happened 2 weeks in a row, both with leg days, because you know, you're focusing on squats and lunges and the up, down movement. And whenever I was on the floor, anytime I would try to sit back up or stand back up, I would immediately feel just that spike again, that woof of...
Yeah, that whole like blanket. It like blankets you.
Yes, just all of the things. I had facial, hand, and feet numbness and tingling, and I just couldn't get it together. And at that point, I had already followed your office, your business page on Instagram, and I remember thinking... Because as you said, even though I'm in the medical field, I remember one patient in my ER days who I tried doing orthostatic vitals on her, and she was like, I can't, I have POTS. And I'm like, I don't know what that means. So you have to stand up anyway. Now that I know, like, I feel horrible that I did this to this poor woman. But I really had never heard of it before. I never learned about it in school.
No, it's not even on the radar for schools. I mean, it wasn't for me either.
No, not at all. But whenever, you know, you're laying on the gym floor because you physically cannot stand up without your heart feeling like it's going to explode, that's when I was like, okay, I have to do something. So I messaged you and I said, hey, would you happen to take a patient who's not officially diagnosed yet? Because I think this is what's happening, but I have no idea.
And when she came, I think it's so realistic because we're just like not sure and you don't know what's happening to your body. And especially for you, I mean, she was lifting heavy. She went back to like the life we know as normal. And you think like, how could this be happening? But then once the wheels start to come off, it was like, oh my gosh. And she was hesitant, I think, because I don't even know if hesitance, like we're almost all in denial. Like is this real, or why are you going to take me back so far? But then when you start to go through her symptoms, I mean, she checked every box, and going through IVF and that process and the toll it has on your body, and then a miscarriage, and then the toll on your body after that. It's like all the things that kind of from what we see, set your body up for something like this to start. And like she said, the cardiologist, the rheumatologist, like people have said this before. And when she came, I was like, oh boy, like it checks every box. And I feel like even when you came that day, you were like, but is it? Are you sure? Because it's hard to wrap your head around, like, is this really where I am now?
Well, and I think too, because I had been told throughout my entire life pretty much, oh, it's fine, your lab work is normal, all the cliche things that we get told, because it's not something that is black and white that you can say, okay, yes, here are your symptoms. This is definitely what you have going on. For me, it was years of, I had a cardiologist tell me years ago, this is right whenever these symptoms started happening. I was really into running at the time, and I would be fine during my runs. But then that night, anytime I would run the day before, I would go to sleep and I would have the palpitations. I could feel the skipped beats. I would be at 110 just lying down for hours and hours and hours. And even my, nurse practitioner friends and my nurse friends had said like, oh, it's fine. Just drink more water, drink more water. And I had a cardiologist tell me, it's okay. You're a woman. It's okay to have a high heart rate sometimes.
Like, that's not it.
No. And I think just spending years of being, I guess, gaslit into thinking that, okay, maybe it is all in my head. Maybe I am fine. Maybe this is normal. Maybe this is how I'm supposed to feel. I think really does a number on someone telling you, no, this is what you actually have. This is what's happening to you. You're like, but is it?
But is it? And I think, being in the ER and your profession, it's a fast paced job and high adrenaline. And so you're like, well, are you sure? And I know at this time, like you had already transitioned out of that, but I think it's just like in your DNA workup to be like, are we sure? Like she's used to go, go, go. And you're right. We gaslight ourselves. Other physicians gaslight us on top of that. And then it's really like, but does this make sense? And that's when, I sent her to cardiology, and it was like, I think she was like, yep, this all adds up.
Mm-hmm. And because I had gone through, she was the second cardiologist I saw. The first one he did do the blood work, the Holter monitor, all of those things. But because I had nothing coming back abnormal, they ruled everything else out, where she felt comfortable. Plus with my symptoms, she felt comfortable giving a diagnosis without a tilt table, which I was very fortunate and very grateful that she did not make me go through that. Because I would have said to her, do you just want to come with me to the gym? I'll do it my own.
I'll show you.
Table. Like, I will show you what I said. You will see me on the floor.
There was a patient that was just here this morning, and she was like, if you look at my blood work, I'm the healthiest person walking around. She's like, but inside, I'm like dying. And I was like, that is such a true statement for everybody with POTS, for the most part, or at least what we tend to see, that, yeah, you're right. Blood work, everything comes back, and you roll everything out to then circle back to this. I think it's telling too, because Meg was in such great shape physically, like from a gym perspective when she came, but she couldn't do things like, I remember her coming in, she's like, I did something wrong. I'm like, what? And she's like, I tried to wash my car. And then another patient, Nicole, our previous guest, Nicole, she was like, why did you wash your car? And then Meg didn't even get to finish her car, because she got too symptomatic. Yeah. We're like, yes, but it's also learning to tailor your life to like how your new normal.
Yeah, which was very difficult for me, because my infertility grief was managed by going to the gym. Mm-hmm. So by the time it truly got so bad, I was already in the going to the gym 5 days a week, doing cardio, probably 6 or 7. I was just in a very physically, I guess, like looks wise, really I looked healthy.
Right.
So in my brain, I'm like, what do you mean I can't? Like, I didn't even think about washing my car. I had thought it's a beautiful day.
Yes.
I'm going to go get some sunshine. I'm going to wash my car. It's disgusting and it's going to be great. And I don't know, maybe like the second swipe down with the towel, I was like, no, this is not good.
No.
I don't know what to do.
It's so funny because outside of here, like those are normal things, but people walk in and you have like seasoned pros that are riding the bikes and they're like, why would you wash your car? But it's just a normal human thing. It's nice out. I should go wash my car.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. So many adjustments have been made, I will say. That I think I was probably more hesitant about that than, I don't know that I was hesitant about the program itself at all. But I was like, what do you mean I can't do this?
Right. Like just
what are you
life
talking
things.
about?
Yeah. Like what? Yeah. Vacuuming her house. That was another thing. She was like, oh my gosh, I tried. And then this happened, you know, just life things. But I feel like they really came and like gave you a wake up call.
Yeah. I would say a wake up call is the best way to describe that.
Sitting here listening to your story reminds me of your story to a degree when you're saying about feeling. And it's true with any autoimmune. It was with my experience too. I went through 3 GI doctors before I got someone that I feel like would listen to me. And at that point, it had been years and I had just gotten sicker and sicker. And that's just unfortunately the way it is with anything related to that.
Yeah. Cause there's no, we were saying like, yes, there is certain blood work for autoimmune, but not like perfect.
Right. A lot of it has to be like caught in the moment. Like when you're symptomatic, like with POTS, the telltale sign is, right, you're fainting, you're passing out.
Yeah.
But not everyone exhibits that.
No.
And so it's harder to diagnose if you're not truly just exhibiting the textbook symptoms of these diseases. It's much harder to catch. And also you're saying you didn't learn about it in PT school or in nursing school. And so there's a lack of education in our healthcare system on what this even is to then be able to say, oh, I can recognize the symptoms now as a practitioner.
Yeah. It's so missed. And probably, like she said, the one patient in the ER that she remembers, but I bet, I mean, because how many of us have been to the ER? Like,
Right.
You know what I mean? It's just not picked up as much. So all levels, we're missing that awareness. And I think until she got to Claire, her current cardiologist, who just has an understanding of it, I think,
Right.
yeah, it makes such a difference. And yeah, like you said, it wasn't like hesitation to be like, okay, because she enjoys exercise, but we had to really scale back. But I also feel like
That might be an understatement when you say really scale back, Megan.
I had to hold her back with reins.
It was so bad, Britt. I genuinely, after I left Kelsey's office the first time, I'm pretty sure I got in my car and cried.
Oh,
and then
yeah.
I tried going to the gym maybe the next day or whenever it was. I cried both times leaving there because I was like, I remember I went to go do a lat pull down and I put the weight on. And I think at the time I was probably pushing like, I don't know, 150. And I was like, okay, I have to like not even put the pin in to not even put weight on this bar to pull this down. How am I supposed to do this?
She's like, can I go to the gym? I'm like, you can try. Because I also don't want to like totally ruin people. We got to find a happy medium. I knew she left like that. It's like how I left Cleveland. I cried the whole way home. You're frustrated. And I'm like, you can go to the gym and see. But I also feel like the more you learn about POTS, the more you learn about your body. She made the decision like, okay, I'm going to have to pull back in order to be able to go forward.
Yeah, definitely. And interestingly, which I'm sure we'll get to, but whenever I just went to Disney,
yes,
I craved the bike because I was so exhausted. I did not hydrate properly before going because it was such
she
a
went
surprise,
to Disney in
like
one
last
day,
minute trip.
24 hours.
Oh,
And it was a very
That's
like
tough
last
for
minute
general,
planned thing.
Right.
Yeah, I was not prepared at all. So I remember laying in bed at the hotel room and I was like, man, I really wish I had a bike in here. Because my body then like craves just
the
that
blood
movement.
flow and the movement. And that's what's crazy. And I say to people, like, if we could I just said it to the girl today. I'm like, because I had a lot of moms and daughters lately that came in and they're like, well, how long? She's like, I hate to ask this question, but how long does it take? I'm like, no, like valid. And I said, honestly, once she starts, I don't have to convince them of anything because you feel better. You get the blood flow. Things start to feel better. You start to learn how to like time your meals and have your water and, use all the tools just right.
That's definitely tough coming from sitting at day one, right? And understanding that I'm not going to feel well for a little while, or I'm not sure when I will feel well. Mm-hmm. When did you start to feel it, Megan? When could you do a lat pull down again?
Well, I kind of stopped going to my gym because it was just, for me, it was too much to manage between biking and then doing the strength exercises through the POTS program. Because in my brain, I'm like, okay, but if I do these things, when am I going to go and do my like regimented? I had Mondays would be buys and tries, Tuesdays would be back and check. Like I had such a routine.
I forgot about that.
I was like, I was like, you know what? I'm just going to put a lid on this for a while and, go back whenever I feel like it. And even now, my dad got me a bike for Christmas last year because I had just started the program. And I said, can you get me this for Christmas? This is the only thing I want. And so I now have just my own little like gym upstairs, like a mini gym. But I would say, I don't know, when did I actually start to feel better? To be quite honest, I would say almost right away because I was pushing myself, I think, too hard. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So I think scaling back and going low and slow, which was my nemesis at the beginning of this, I think made the biggest difference for me. So I think, I don't know, it's hard for me to say because I would say that it was almost right away because I really had to teach myself to
come back.
Yeah, to pull back.
I also think, I can't even remember like the exact time points, but she would come in and say different things like, I don't know, just stuff at home or like going with her niece, or it's almost like it's easier for me. And it's the same thing like when I was a patient, it's easier for outside others to be like, oh, look, she did do that. Or she would come in and say, I don't know, just like different little things that I think even too, like even if she had a bump in the road, she was like, but, I got back on the bike and because you had illness in there and she had a surgery in there. Like, I think that's a huge thing to touch on. She had quite a surgery. And even through that, she got back on when she could. We had to go back a little, but like she was still, you didn't lose all that progress and like super committed to just picking back up even after that.
Yeah, absolutely. I think for me, it was almost, I don't want to say easier, but I think coming from a place where I was already pushing myself so hard physically, that working out routine was already built inside of my bones.
Right. You crave that.
Yeah. So to say to me, oh, you're going to bike 3 days a week and strength train 3 days a week, I was like, great, cool.
Yeah.
That sounds good. But I think even prior to coming to you, I remember the one thing that used to get me so bad was filling up my dog's bowls. Their food bowls or their water bowls, just that bending down and standing back up, that would get to me so hard. And I would say it was, I don't know, very early on, like within the first few months for sure, that like stopped wiping me out. It sounds so horrible, but it would feel like I ran a marathon, just literally bending down and picking up
because
the
you figure that blood flow doesn't know where to go. And it's something, so these are like the small wins I say, but it's a huge win because that's a small part of your day, but like it's also huge if you felt horrible.
Yeah. Yeah. It's just like these little things that even my husband has made comments here and there throughout the year, like, oh, like, look at you.
Yeah.
Or what I think one of the things was cleaning the house for sure. The vacuuming and the mopping. And he's like, wow, you did all that today?
Yeah, she used to break it down. She'd be like, okay, well, I'm going to do this day. And then as time would pass, she'd be like, oh, I cleaned my house. Or when she wanted to go to Kennywood on the hottest day in the summer and ride roller coasters, her husband Adam's like, do you think Kelsey would want you to do that?
Is this Kelsey approved?
But the fact that she even wanted to, I'm like, that is telling in itself.
Yeah. He said, are you sure that's a good idea? I said, okay, maybe you're right.
Maybe that's a good idea. Yeah, maybe that's not it. Yeah, I think you got to see slow changes, but I also think as, I don't know, probably around 6-7 months, the exercises start to turn into real exercises. So I also feel like, yes, the beginning was super slow and the whole program is built to be slow, but you also got to taste of like normal exercises. Again, it's not heavy like she used to, but she was doing more normal exercises, I would say, that you were used to.
Yeah, I agree. I think also too, throughout the whole program, I probably did do, like, I would add on maybe like some bicep curls or some lateral raises or whatever it was that I felt like doing, had, you know, if I had the energy to do it. And I would say maybe by like, I don't know, 5 or 6, I was like, yeah, I can do a couple extra
like
sets
add
of
the
something
stuff
else.
in. Yeah.
Yeah.
Which is a different starting point than we've heard from other folks. Like you were already, like Kelsey was saying, active and used to that, and you were going too far and you needed to bring it back down, where we have other folks that are maybe bedridden and not doing any activity. So even the concept of biking for a couple minutes seems like a lot. So it's like the opposite side of the spectrum.
Oh, for sure. Yeah. She is part of the group, and we have plenty that I really have to pull back to be able to go forward. And people say like, well, why does everybody start at the same spot? And I'm like, because blood doesn't care. It's in your feet. So it doesn't literally care where you came from. The only maybe the difference that I see is like, if she's already regimented into that, not that I have to convince her, but I don't have to, she already craves that consistency. And so maybe that piece coming from somebody who doesn't do it, that's the difference. But in terms of like the program, everybody, we see them from all different ranges, but and I think it's hard no matter which side you come from, because your life is still ultimately turned upside down.
Absolutely. I think I even remember at the very beginning, I was like, well, how many days a week can I bike? Can I bike and strength train? Can I do these things? And now I feel a little more like towards the end of the program, I was like, okay, let me just actually do what she's telling me to do.
Yes.
But there were weeks where I would bike every single day because I just wanted to.
And you
but
feel
now
better.
I feel like I have to. Yeah. Now I feel like if I'm not on the bike, I feel horrible.
And mentally too. It's a scary place to get to, because you're like, okay, I'm feeling better, but it's that healthy fear. But I think at times like crippling fear, like I don't want to go back to that. I don't want that to control my life.
No, I would even say years ago, whenever I was diagnosed with the Hashimoto's, the thyroid autoimmune, I would be so tired, but I would still force myself to do the workout. Like I would still, not this workout, but you know, back whenever I was in the gym, I would still force myself to do it, but I didn't want to do it. I probably didn't do a very good job of the workout, but I felt like I still needed to, where this, I feel like my body needs it. It wasn't a mental thing to get through this program. I mean, it was, but it was also just, I knew my body felt so much better doing it. And that was the motivating factor.
Yeah, that's what's so crazy. Like your body literally, like you said, craves it. And you know, and that it's where I say in the beginning, like, listen, if you're feeling a little down or your body doesn't feel good, I could bet you a good, I don't know, a high likelihood that if you went and got on that bike and you get off, you're going to feel better. And that's a hard concept, because mentally, if you feel bad, typically you want to do nothing. But if you do nothing, you feel worse from pot. So it's that mindset. But yeah, if you can get over that little hump or see what we're talking about, honestly, it'll make all the difference.
I completely agree.
Yeah.
It goes back to it's a lifestyle change, right? And if you build that into your day and it's not in your day, your body's going to be like, wait a second, I'm used to this activity, and it's going to act differently. Yeah. So it's definitely a lifestyle that we always say, it's a habit. You won't even know that you're doing it down the line.
You just get you just get used to it, and then you just continue to see that progress. I mean, like I said, she's had illnesses, she's had surgery, you haven't really had to, outside of the little pause with the surgery, I don't think you even repeated, really, not much.
I don't think, just for like vacations and stuff.
Yeah, just like normal. So I mean, and I think that goes to show you, like, she was a like typical patient going through this. Like things happen, things are going to come up. Like I said, surgeries, illness, vacations, but like, look, I mean, it's just, we've built on it and changed. And now, I mean, she transitioned to the treadmill and she's still biking. And I mean, flying to Disney in 24 hours, like that's a lot, you know, the fact, like day one, Meg was not doing that. I mean, well, she might've did it, but then she would have been on the ground.
Exactly. Yeah. I would have still done it, because I would have been like, yeah, I can do it. No problem. This one, I will say, for anybody who would be flying, I always hydrate before, like make sure a couple days that I'm hydrated. I wear my compression socks on the plane, all the things. This particular trip, I purchased the tickets at 9:30 in the morning, left the house at 10:15
Stop.
and was on the flight at noon. Swear. So I was not prepared. And by the time I had gotten to Magic Kingdom later that afternoon, walking around in the heat, I was like, uh-oh,
What
I
did I
need an
do?
element packet immediately.
I didn't know it was like that. Like it was,
It was
So fast.
last minute.
very.
When someone said to me, oh my gosh, Meg posted, I don't know if it was Jenna or Nicole. And I'm like, wait, she said she wasn't going. And I think whoever it was like, no, it said she went in 24 hours. I'm like, wow, this is legit. Like she really switched.
I sure did. Sure did.
Oh my gosh, that's cool though. I just think that shows you, right?
Yep.
Like she can do it. And yes, is everything perfect? Do you need an element when you hit Magic Kingdom? For sure. But she did it and she came home and she got back on like everything. And I just think it's such a good example of, life isn't perfect and it can be very bumpy, but I mean, if you stick with it, and she had her bumps along the way, no doubt, but now where her life is and then where that life can go beyond even just her year and beyond that in terms of sticking with the program and just feeling good. I forget when you were talking about it, but you're like physically from the outside, yeah, best shape of your life. Internally, like worst your health has ever been. And nobody can see that. If you show a picture of somebody at that point, like, oh my gosh, yeah, she's ripped and everything looks great. But inside you were just falling apart.
Oh my gosh. If I posted pictures of my Hawaii trip, I mean, my arms at that point were exactly what I wanted them to be, but at what cost? Right? It just, I could not have gone on doing what I was doing. I don't know. I don't think that it would be worth having that body again because this body is so much stronger than that one was.
Yes. In so many ways. Mentally, I feel like you're in such a better spot. Like physically, yeah, just healthy. Yeah. I feel like the person you are now compared to who walked in at day one, totally different.
Totally different.
All
Thanks to you.
And the work that you put in.
I mean, true. But if it was up to me, I would have still been.
Oh, geez. I would have been picking you up off the floor.
Exactly.
If you could share some advice to someone who's newly diagnosed or struggling to get a diagnosis with POTS to where you are today, what would that advice be?
Go see Kelsey. Would be
Great
number
advice.
one. Number two would be take it easy. I think it's so hard to either one, be newly diagnosed or two, just be newly experiencing these symptoms and not knowing what to do or where to go or who to turn to. But I think just taking your time, figuring out what works for you and figuring out what doesn't work for you is that was probably the hardest thing for me, was figuring out what didn't work and what I needed to change. So I would say, go see Kelsey. Drink your salt and figure out what routines are going to help you in the future.
Yeah, to help you keep that consistency. I mean, it's bumpy at first, right? I mean, it's not perfect. It's not easy to change our normal habits, right? Like it takes a while and it takes some fails, like washing the car or doing too much or thinking about riding crazy roller coasters when it's 100 degrees. Like it's things like that. But then it's all finding that balance and like what works to allow you to get there. But no, I think that's exactly right.
Spontaneous trip that you are now able to take. I mean, it was maybe not, like you said, you didn't do enough prep work, but you were okay when you came back. Just a little bit of a bump. Yeah.
You just need to bike.
It was just that one little hiccup of like, oh no. And then I did go on one ride while I was there. Mm-hmm. And it was the slowest. It was the the people mover.
Yeah.
Like the train thing that goes.
That's what you chose?
No, it's what my family chose. But we were on it and I was like, great, this is wonderful. I had the breeze going. I was sitting down. I felt great until we went into the completely
Dark.
Pitch black room. Mm-hmm. And I said, we need to get out of here. Yeah. We need this to carry along.
Because your body still, like it'll still do that. It doesn't know like where it is in space. like, it's such a weird thing because you're moving, but it's pitch black in there. And especially if you're on the seat that's going backwards, I think that's even weirder.
Yeah.
Like,
and I don't know. I think the adrenaline too of deciding to fly to Disney and actually doing it and all of that in the same day. I think my fight or flight was already pretty high.
no kidding. Yeah.
But I think if I would have tried to do that a year ago, I would be.
Yeah, there wouldn't. Right.
Sure.
It would be totally different.
Right.
It is. I think that shows you, like, yes, there's still hiccups, especially this time of year. You're still going to feel them. Even long term, you'll still feel things, but it's no longer controlling your life like it was when you came right before your Hawaii trip.
Exactly. I can still live a life, which is all I could ever ask for.
Megan is a small business owner, so we wanted to shout that out. Do you want to tell everyone what it is and where they can find you?
Yes, thank you. So I run a business called 412 Fertility, and we are a group of nurses that go around helping anybody who is struggling with infertility and needs to give themselves their fertility injections. We will come to you and either do it for you and take away that stress, or we will teach you how to do it so that you know exactly what you're doing and you're doing it right and safely. And we're just there to guide you along the way.
My own infertility journey, Meg has been a godsend, just answering my questions and making sure that I'm not losing my mind. So 100% recommend 10 out of 10.
Yes, right. And she's on social media. You can find her website. I mean, she is all over the Pittsburgh area. Every time I talk to her. And that's like another thing how I knew, like, she would have, I mean, because the clients are late at night or early in the morning and she's driving across the city and then back and then down. And I could just see it, like, that load lightening for her because, I mean, IVF, you know, helping those clients, like, I don't know, like, that's such a special thing and giving that support. So emotionally, that's a lot. And then physically and driving and doing all the things. So I think, I could just see that change in her. And now her and I have become friends. And I could see in the last couple months, like, she has all these new ideas for the business. And I think it's just opening up, like, where she is now is just opening up a whole nother level, not only in just her personal life, but in her work life too, which is just so cool.
Yeah, I completely agree. I've said this, I think, in a review, maybe a Google review, maybe in an article. I've said this multiple times and I will stand by it. You have single-handedly saved my life.
Aww.
So thank you.
Yeah. Oh, well, that's what's cool about this job. Like, you know, yes, people are patients, but, like, they become, like, lifelong friends. And it's funny, even my kids know, like, because they have an Aunt Meg, but then her husband works at a car dealership and I have a car thanks to him. And they say, wait, is that Tahoe Meg? That's what they call it. Like, my kids even know who she is. I don't even know Adam, but just hearing from her, and I don't know, you just get lifelong friends, and this is a long program. And I feel like the support that you get, not only meet other patients, but I get to be invested in patients' lives. So I am thankful.
I think that's what makes the difference too. I have spoken with people that have tried to do cardiac rehabs, or maybe they've tried the CHOP program on their own. But I think, just like my business, I have to say, when you are helping people with something that you have also experienced personally, I think it just makes a huge difference because you've lived through POTS. You know how we feel. I've gone through IVF. I know how my clients feel. I think there's just, I don't know, a different experience that we can give because we've lived through it.
Yeah, it's just a different level of being able to relate.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, love it.
Yeah. Thanks so much for joining. I feel like we could talk forever because usually that's what's happening anyhow.
Yeah, with the three of us.
Thanks for joining with us today. Don't forget to like, subscribe, follow us on YouTube. You can watch us, do all the things.
Find us on all the platforms, and we're thankful to have you here joining us for this season 2. Bye.